Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. I'm going to discuss to you today about classification. So, what is classification? This is a process in which you are going to understand how organisms are related and how they are different. So that is to classify things. Just like you, when you have a lot of things in your house and you want to classify things, you're gonna arrange your house. You're gonna classify which ones are for the kitchen, which ones are for your living room, which ones are for your dining room, which ones are for your bedroom. So you're gonna classify things. If you have all the toys there in your house, or for your kids, or for your siblings, you're going to classify which ones are um, cars, toy cars, which ones are dogs, or which ones are for food products and more of that. So that's how we classify things, right? Okay, to understand um, how organisms are related and how they are different. That's how we call classification in biology or in science. So here we have the word taxonomy. It is a branch of biology where you're gonna group and name the organisms. So let's have a quick history about classification. So have you ever heard the word Aristotle? Aristotle in 4th century BC, he proposed two groups, the plants and animals, and used common names for identification based on blood and bloodless. So in early 1700s, another scientist named Carolus Linnaeus developed a system based on these physical characteristics. So what are these? The two kingdoms approach, plants and animals, and also they have developed genus and species. So this is how to name, we call it the binomial nomenclature. Okay, bi means two, nomial means nomenclature means naming, two names. Binomial nomenclature, which gave each organism two names. So one is the genus and one is the species. Genus is always capitalized for the first name, or should be underlined or italicized if you want to write it down, or if you want to type it, it should be italicized or underlined, right? The first letter, genus, while the species is just small letter. Example, for us humans, our scientific name, our binomial nomenclature is Homo sapiens. So Homo, you should write with a big letter H, Homo, but small letter O-M-O, and then the species sapiens, it is S-A-P-I-E-N-S. All right. So there are 6 kingdoms if we are talking about this new classification. 6 kingdoms approach. So number one is they are classified. The Archaebacteria is classified as one kingdom. Those are the bacteria, and all those we will talk more that later. Next is Eubacteria. Those are um, those that can survive in very extreme conditions. We will talk more in detail later. We have kingdom Protista, we have kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and then kingdom Animalia. So there is a dichotomous key that is being used to identify these organisms, okay, by using the pairs of contrasting characteristics. We will learn more of that later as we go on. And dichotomous key is the basis for current classification as well. Phylogeny, biochemical analysis, embryology, morphology, phylogenetic trees, or DNA. So here we'll talk in detail more of that later. Now there are levels of classification. You have to understand that. One is kingdom. This is the highest one. It's classification kingdom. Okay. We have next to kingdom is phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. If you want to understand kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. All right, so we will talk on this what kingdom, alright? So in kingdom, say for example, kingdom Animalia, so they are classified as multicellular organisms that eat food, right? Kingdom Animalia is composed of many cells and they eat food. While when you say phylum, that's the next classification. Say for example, phylum Chordata. Okay, for us people, we belong to kingdom Animalia. We belong to phylum Chordata. Why? Chordata means we have this nerve cord, notochord, right? And pharyngeal slits. And we belong to class Mammalia. Why? We have hair, we have mammary glands, endotherm, and we have 4-chambered heart. Others, they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 3 other organisms. So next one, we belong to order Primates. Why? Because we have nails, we have clavicle. Here is your clavicle. Okay, we have orbits encircled with our bones. We have enlarged cerebrum, it's part of our brain, and opposable digits, or the fingers of our hands and our feet. Digits. Right. For family, we belong to family Humidae. Why? We are bipedal, meaning we can walk erect on 2 feet. Can you erect? Can you walk erect, like sit, walking properly, not doing like this, not walking with your hands and feet, but we are bipedal. We walk erect on our 2 feet. Okay, that is using advanced tool. We also use advanced tools. Now we belong to genus Homo, human-like, and species Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens, in other words. So just to compare these two words, eukaryote and prokaryote, I want you to remember that prokaryote, this has nuclear material in the center of the cell. What does it mean by that, Ms. A? It has, okay, a nucleus, but it is not enclosed by a nuclear membrane, or meaning no membrane-bound organelles. The organelles in prokaryotic cells is not embedded by a membrane. Examples are bacteria and blue-green algae. However, when you say eukaryotes, they contain a clearly defined nucleus with nuclear membrane. Okay? And the organelles are membrane bound, so they can be protected more. Examples: plants, animals, fungi, and protists. So when we compare the kingdom characteristics we have here, when you say kingdom Monera, they are called they are bacteria. Singular is bacterium. Kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. So what's the difference between these 5 kingdoms? So kingdom Monera, examples are bacteria, or another word is called bacteria. Protista are called protists. Fungi, they are eukaryotes. Plantae, they are eukaryotes. And eukaryotes, Animalia, meaning, okay, they have nuclear membrane and the nucleus that is embedded or surrounded or protected the organelles. Monera, they are prokaryote, or Protista, eukaryote, right? So all of these guys, Monera is unicellular, meaning it has only one cell, right? Colony, bacteria live in colony. One time we were at our biology laboratory and we were asked to culture E. coli bacteria. So we were trying to observe and study how that bacteria can just really grow more in just minutes, but in colonies. Okay, so Another one, Monera, kingdom Monera bacteria, some are aerobic, some are anaerobic. Aerobic means they need oxygen, anaerobic no need to use oxygen to have the processes in their body. And bacteria are considered decomposers. Okay, they decomposers. Heterotrophic meaning they cannot make their own food, but they depend on others to survive, to have food, to get food from other organisms. Some are photosynthetic and some are chemosynthetic. Okay, photosynthetic meaning um they get energy from the sun to make food. Chemosynthetic, they can survive using the energy from the chemicals they eat. Pathogenic, right? Bacteria are considered pathogenic. Some are called medicinal. Yes, like the good bacteria. We have a lot of different types of bacteria. We have positive gram bacteria, negative gram bacteria. You will know more of that when you really study biology specifically. But for this session, we just have to learn the and compare the rest of the kingdom. So bacteria, they can be used for vaccines and antibiotics. Example is Streptococcus. And by the way, bacteria are named according to their shape as well, right? So we will know more of that later. What about Protista? Protista or protists, some are unicellular, one cell, some are multicellular or many-celled organism. They survive using oxygen, aerobic, pathogenic or parasitic. They are animal-like, but they're not animals. They just like animals, like the protozoa. Plant-like, they're called algae. Some are used for medicinal purposes or food source, and some are mobile. They can move like amoeba. Right, next one, fungi. Um, Examples are mushrooms. They can be aerobic, they are composers as well. They lack chlorophyll, they're not green. Why? When you see the mushrooms, are they green? No, they're white, they're brown. Because they lack chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a pigment that makes the plants green. Okay? The chloroplast is the organelle that helps produce this chlorophyll. We have pathogenic, saprophytic, and parasitic. They are also medicinal. Mushrooms are medicinal as well, but some mushrooms are also dangerous and cannot be eaten, so you have to be careful with that. Um, can be as food source. They are heterotrophic, meaning they cannot make their own food by themselves. They have to depend. They have to be decomposers. They absorb nutrients from the ground or from dead plants or animals. Some are sexual, some can be reproduced as asexually. Okay, so those are examples. We have 2 minutes left. Plantae plants. The plants, they are producers. They make their own food. They are aerobic. They make use of oxygen. They make food by themselves in the presence of light. That's photosynthesis. You have cell wall. You have vascular system like the seeds, and some are poisonous. Some are not. Some are medicinal. And they compose of root stems, leaves, some flowers, some not, no flowers, and fruits. And they undergo pollination and fertilization, and they germinate. Example, the oak tree. And the last one is the animals. Of course, we belong to the animal kingdom, kingdom Animalia. We are consumers. We are not producers. Meaning, in science, producers means can make their own food by themselves. We say we can cook, so we can cook, make food. No, what I mean is in our body we can produce. That's producers, but we are not. We humans, we are consumers. Uh, do have cellular respiration for energy. Some are vertebrates, meaning they have the backbone. Some are invertebrates, and we talk more on that later as we go on. Thank you so much, and comment like below for details.